perfect game for Roy Halladay.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. I am 1/4 of your host, Dylan Davis. You can follow me on Twitter at DylanJD98. And today, another packed room. The full squad is together. I got my man Matt McGinty from the Daily Dose with me. You can follow him at Matt_McGinty. We got another Matt on board with us. You know him as Snap. You can follow him at Not Szymanski. And we got Billy, a.k.a. George Ryder. You can follow him on Twitter at _George Ryder. And you can follow our pod on Twitter at Phaithful Fans too. Before we get into today's show, we do have a message from our sponsors at XL Media.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
Free money.
There you go, guys. 100% match up to $250 with BetRivers. So before we get into today's show, we are streaming to you live through the Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube accounts of the Painted Lines Network. So if you're new to the channel, please go give them a follow on Twitter at the Painted Lines, or subscribe to their Twitch and YouTube channels. Like this video and turn on notifications. Abe, and you got Abe Link. Honest Abe, what is going on? Go Phils and go Sixers. Kevin, thank you for joining. And you guys can comment as much as you guys want today. Makes the show a lot more fun. So, boys, where should we start? We see Billy's jersey. Is that where we want to start? We want to start with the team that's on fire.
You want to start with the best team in Philadelphia? I mean,
what a year it's been. I remember when the Flyers were the best team in the city.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but we're bouncing back.
Since we've started this podcast about a year ago, a little over a year ago, we've bounced around from calling each of the four teams probably the best team in this city at one time or another.
It changes quickly.
Yeah. So, George, you want to come out with a hot take like that, my friend? Lead us off with this Phillies team as they start the year 5-1 after sweeping the Atlanta Braves, which I don't think any of us foresaw, and then taking 2 of 3 versus the Mets. And George, I texted you this the first game. The Mets are going to Met, my dude.
That's going to
They
Met.
are just going to Met. So talk to me about this Phillies team. Takeaways from the first 2 series. Start us off.
Man, see, the first series sweeping the Braves, like, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but our bullpen.
So, win the World Series?
Listen, because a lot of people criticize the bullpen, and I feel like we were all like, there it is. I feel like we were all like, don't get like ahead of yourself, because bullpen can be solid. Like, this could be a pretty good bullpen, and I know it's early, but they're really showing it. Like, they really are pulling their weight, and it's awesome to see. Our top 3 starters look absolutely incredible. Not going to call Eflin an ace like on the pre-show, but
Sure about that?
Close to it. It's like
he's close to it.
Everything looks so good, and the bats didn't even get started really for the first few games, and now after that great game against the Mets, blowing it open, JT hit a homer, Reese 3 for 5, 2 doubles and a dinger. Like, we're finally getting into the groove with the bats, and that's just gonna help our bullpen and starters so much more. So this is awesome to see. 5-1 to start the year. Who would have thought? I I'm a stan. I definitely would not have thought we were gonna start 5-1. So I'm happy as can be.
Boom, hit like a 430-foot absolute missile to like
I
the
think
deepest part of the ballpark.
You're
Snap,
at that team, right?
Snap, talk to me about some of your takeaways. You can talk about the bullpen. I know that's kind of everybody's main
Yeah,
takeaway,
that's
right?
kind of. I think the biggest thing is the offense is still the same from last year. They're still hitting balls, they're getting runs, and that's what you need with the pitching improvement. So stay consistent on offense like they've been. And I think this team, I think this team can be really special already.
Hell yeah. Gint, we discussed it a little bit, but take it from there. What are some of your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, you guys alluded to the bullpen and the lineup. So, I mean, I think it's huge what you saw in the first series with 3 starters. They were all able to go 7 innings. They basically made like 2 mistakes that let up only 3 runs off a couple bombs that they hit. But, I mean, you're not going to be perfect every day. But I think it's huge for the starters getting to the 7th inning because we didn't know what this bullpen was going to be when we came into the season. But it has been good, fortunately enough. And also, we mentioned in the first series, like, the bats didn't do a ton, but you still were able to sweep the Braves. So you didn't have to win a game off 7 runs or 6 runs. It was, 3-3-2, and you still, like you said, 3-0 against the Atlanta Braves. So,
yeah, man. So just going off of everything you guys kind of like put out there. Again, after the first series against the Braves, one of the things we discussed was like, yeah, the bullpen looked great. Like Alvarado, Archie Bradley, Hector Neris, they come in a tight game. They don't blow a lead late in the game, or even the opener with Nola giving up that late mistake. They hold it down, extra innings, don't give up a run. Phillies walk off with Jimmy Siggs. But after that series, I'm like, okay, the bullpen looked really good, but my biggest takeaway was the starters are getting deep into games to start this year. And when you have less strain on a bad bullpen, that makes the bullpen look better. And then you follow it up with the first Mets game against DeGrom. Now, we can get into them pulling DeGrom after 77 pitches and how the Mets are just going to Met. But that bullpen performance has by far been the most important in my eyes. Like, it's more important than keeping a lead, right? This game, Matt Moore starts off fantastic. You know, we're joking around, Cy Moore, like all this stuff. He looks great. Completely loses command of the strike zone in the 4th inning, gets 1 out. Only goes 3 in the 3rd. It's a 2-0 game. Kinsler comes in, bases loaded, 1 out. Game can really get out of hand here, right? He dials up a ground ball double play, gets out of it, and they keep it a 2-run game the rest of the way from the 4th inning on. That was the best performance I've seen from this bullpen all season long. So they're not blowing leads, and they're keeping, a deficit where it is outside of Vince Velasquez. And a running thing we're going to do here on the Phaithful Phanatics and all of my shows we're going to have a different category from bullpen statistics and Vince Velasquez bullpen statistics, because it's not fair. It's not fair to Alvarado and Archie Bradley and Coonrod and Brogdon, who leads the MLB and like wins already with 3. It's not fair to all of them to be lumped together with Vince Velasquez numbers. So let's take it from there. Let's stay with the bullpen for a second. Snap, I'll throw this to you first. Now the game, it was the second game. It was their only loss. It's a 2-1 game. Joe Girardi throws out Vince Velasquez. He strikes out the side in the top of the 6th. Was this just we know what Vinny is in the past, but we let him on the roster. We got to see what he has in the bullpen. Let's throw him out there in the 7th. Or was this a mistake? Because in my mind, this was just a huge mistake to throw him back out there because he strikes out the side in the 6th. Why would you not let him build confidence off that strong outing? Instead, you throw him back out there, and oh boy, Vinny Headcase comes out to play, and he can't throw a strike if his life depended on it. And he walks 4, strikes out 1. So talk to me about that performance. Was that a mistake by Joe Girardi, or was this kind of just like, let it ride?
I think he basically covered it right there. It was a mistake. I think how they handled that was completely wrong. You can't do that to the kid, especially since he's known to be a head case. I just think it fucks up his whole rhythm.
George, this is your boy, so I'll let you talk a little bit more about him in a second.
Can we not do this? He's not my boy.
You have his jersey. You're wearing it right now.
He Billy's also a Mets fan, so that's another story for another day.
I think it's the worst joke out of all of them.
But watching him out there, dude, it's like when you watch him take a deep breath before every pitch, like that head case, bro. Like I know pitchers take deep breaths, but like before every pitch is like he looks scared as shit and he's and delivers, and I'm like, bro, just throw the ball to home plate. You're like, this is why you're in your head. He takes so long to deliver the ball. George, talk to me about Vince Velasquez. Please tell me we're not going to have to see him much longer in the pinch.
He's got a change up now, so we're good.
See, like, we all hate Vinny, and like we all thought the Vinny experience would. All right, don't give me that look, Gim.
We all hate Vinny.
And like, I feel like they wanted to give him another chance in the bullpen this year. Got him in arbitration. I don't want to say it was a mistake from Girardi. I mean, I would love for him to like strike.
It's okay to criticize a manager that you like.
This is what I'm saying. It was great that he struck at the side. That was amazing. I think taking him out there and letting him build confidence off of that appearance would have been amazing. But I also, on the other hand, don't mind him being like, go ahead, ride the hot hand. Did he keep him there? Did he keep him in the game way too long? Of course, like way too long. But hopefully we don't have to see Vinny do that much.
See, I love Joe Girardi, right? If Gabe Kapler did that, Kapler would have gotten destroyed with that move. And yes, he is. Yes, he is. The Corona man himself is drinking a White Claw today, Abe. So there's something's in the air in Bucks County. I don't know really what's going on over there in Gint's basement. Apparently he's on vacation. It's news to me. He looks in the same location as always.
I mean, I think Joe G now sees that Vinny V is
I think he's done.
And I think he's very much done. He's definitely bottom man in the totem pole in that bullpen, which is great. And we have so many names in there that we're not even going to need them. We'll throw them out there when we're up by like 4. You know, like
the only time I want to see Vince Velasquez in a game
is not enough.
But the only time I want to see Vince Velasquez in a game is when we're down like 8-1.
On a nice Saturday afternoon, we're down 9-0. You throw them out.
Yeah, it's just great that we have so many like guys that are actually good and actually throw on like last year. It's just so much more like refreshing.
All right, Phillies, man, I'll stay with you. Let's ride the hot hand here.
Phillies.
Hopefully it's not as hot as Vince Velasquez.
Right?
So we saw a strong opening day performance from Aaron Nola outside of one bad mistake to Pablo Sandoval. Zach Wheeler was dominant, only allowed 1 hit, no runs scored. Zach Eflin looked great on Easter Sunday. Nola didn't get deep into last night's game, but he got out of a couple jams and kept the Mets to only 1 run scored while he was in there. I want to talk about the bottom 2 arms in this rotation. Matt Moore, he didn't have a great debut, but he only allowed 2 runs. Chase Anderson only went 5 innings, but he only allowed 2 runs. How important is that to you with these 4 and 5 guys that even when they can't overachieve and on an off night for them, the game's not out of hand for this lineup to come back? It's only a 2-run ball game. How did you think those 2 looked? Who looked obviously Chase Anderson looked better, but which one do you have more confidence in going forward?
See, like, to start the year is Matt Moore, but Chase Anderson kind of cruised through 5 innings. Like, he let up 2 hits, 2 runs, whatever, but he was kind of cruising. He didn't even look that bad. We pulled him kind of early. What do you have, like around 70 pitches, I think?
Yeah, so, I think that's because he was leading off the next inning in the 6th.
Yeah, so it was just like strategy-wise. But Matt Moore, man, if he loses control like he did in the first game, like we're going to have a problem. Because
Matty Mo,
he doesn't have stuff that's going to blow you away. So if he loses control of the strike zone, like hopefully it's not a recurring thing because we're going to have problems. But going forward, like the 4-5 spots, I'm not too worried about them. And if things start getting out of hand, we have Spencer Howard as a backup still to throw into that 4-5, hopefully, if they don't mind giving him innings as a starter. So Matt Moore didn't look great. Chase Anderson definitely looked better. Chase Anderson was kind of cruising. Like, I was happy about him. Yeah, I mean, so I think the 4-5 positions are decent. And honestly, like, if you look at the 4-5s across all the MLB, 80% of them are like, like they're iffy.
Yeah, so, sure. Yeah, no one has a great
no one
1
has
through
a
5.
solid 4-5, so I don't mind having an iffy 4-5, especially when you have a guy like Howard who can, at any point, you guys can be like, let's give him a chance as a 4-5 starter. So, yeah, it was all right. It was okay to see. Chase Anderson looked fine. Matt Moore needs to be better, but that's it.
All right. There is another concern I have, but I don't want to do it because I am riding a high with this team. And they're going to win the World Series. So I'm not going to get into the negatives.
No, please say it's Roman Quinn, dude.
Their division
Not-
odds. Their division odds go from plus 1,000 to plus 490. Just saying.
Wow. 6 games
It's
in. I'm
Roman
not
Quinn.
I'm not going to talk about Roman Quinn today. I want to let's stay on a positive. Snap. One of the X factors coming into this season, Rhys Hoskins, has been on a tear to start this year. George already said yesterday's numbers: 3 of 5, a dinger in the first inning, 2 doubles. He's batting close to a 500 through the first 2 series this year. Just talk to me about how important that is for this Phillies ball club, because Bryce is kind of going to be a consistent, JT is going to be a consistent, Bohm seems like he's going to be a consistent. Rhys is that guy in the middle of the order that is, when he's hot, but he can also slump for 2 months. How important is him? Don't laugh at that. It's not a joke. He can't slump for 2 months.
2 months slump, dude.
How important is Rhys Hoskins' bat in the middle of this lineup?
It's crucial. Because we've seen what happens when he goes into these 2-month slumps, like the way you put it. When he's not hitting the ball, he's not a very good player overall. So you kind of need that bat. It's pretty simple.
Again, talk to me about that. Go off of that, and then also talk to me about like what differences you're seeing in Rhys, because the first Brave series he wasn't like spectacular. Like, I know the numbers overall scream great, but it was really this Met series. He's just like the Chase Utley of this era. He's a Met killer so far in his career. It seemed like the Brave series, he was seeing the ball well, but he wasn't making great contact with the ball. This Met series, he started making big contact with the ball. Talk to me about Rhys Hoskins' play so far.
Yeah, I mean, we alluded to it when this series was starting that he has something against these Mets. It's kind of like Ben Simmons in the Utah Jazz. Like, there's just some type of vendetta since he ran around the bases for 42 seconds on a home run that he hit. But yeah, I mean, he's so important, and we stress it because when he is hitting the ball well, he's batting in the 2 slot right now in front of Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto, who are 2 of the National League's best, right? So anyone on base in front of them is super important. But like you said, when he hits these slumps that by the time he's out of it, it's the leaves are orange. So, like, it just can't happen. So he's mightily important. We can't see another one of those slumps, and he's just looked way better.
Right. Someone said it best already. This offense dropped 8 runs yesterday, and the offense doesn't get to say it's started yet until Bryce Harper hits his first home run. So, Billy, talk to me about the man on your jersey and how you thought he has played so far through 2 series.
Yeah, Bryce has been fine. I mean, I feel like in the beginning of the season, Bryce always takes a little bit to pick it up. It kind of always happens, and I think he's batting like 260 right now. He's playing decent. Like, at some point, Bryce is going to just start popping off, and he's just going to start raking. That's just how Bryce Harper operates. So there's no worries about him. He looks fine, and he looks very hyped to be here every single game. I mean, the Fanatic cleats and everything. He looks like he's having a good time. So, eventually he's just going to start raking. He's going to pop off just like Rhys is doing right now. There's nothing to worry about with Bryce Harper.
Respect it. Bryce roped the double off the right field wall yesterday. I agree. I think he's looked fine, but the best is still to come when it comes to number 3. Guys, before we move on to our 76ers, I just want to get your thoughts on this team. They are 5-1. It's only 6 games of 162. This season is a marathon, not a sprint. But has the first series changed your overall views, your standpoint on this team this season? Because before the year started, it was kind of they're going to be middle of the pack or like 4th in the NL East. And now, George, you already read the odds. Vegas changed the odds drastically through the first 2 series for them to win the NL East. So, again, lead us off there. Has your viewpoint changed already?
I mean, I think it has to, right? The bullpen is way better, exceeds a lot of expectations that people thought. you only saw one start out of Eflin, but in that start, he looks like he's exceeding expectations. George called him an ace. So, I mean, at that point, you have to think, like, I know a lot of people were hovering around like 85 wins, 83 wins around there. This might put you up to about 88, 89.
Do you think they can get to 90?
I think they can. They're one legitimate starting pitcher probably away from being sure to win the division, right? With how the Braves are playing. The Braves are what, 1-5 now?
I would say so.
I only won a game yesterday.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're exceeding expectations so far. They're 5-1. They look really good. And like you said, if Eflin can be really good all year, there's a huge chance of us winning this division.
Right. By the way, I don't, George, do you know what happened? But before we went live, when our sponsor video was playing, Twitter was exploding with the ending of the Mets-Marlins game.
Shit, dude,
I don't know what
happened. Didn't even hit him.
That's how it ended?
He pimped the shit out of a home run to tie it. It was ridiculous. He hit Jeff McNeil hit a bomb in the bottom of the ninth to tie it. Dude,
awesome.
the sexiest bat I've ever seen.
Did you see how it ended, though?
Oh, no. Was that not like –
No, the hit by pitch?
No, I didn't see that.
Bro, like, didn't even hit the guy, I don't think. I didn't get to really look at the video.
What, did it bring a runner home when it hit him to end it?
Yeah, the bases were loaded.
Oh, my God.
Dude, the Mets announcer, I didn't get to listen to it because we're on this, but I'm pretty sure, like, Amadeo tweeted, like, it's bad when the home announcer is questioning if it even hit him.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm trying
That's
to
right.
find this pitch now.
George, let me throw this to you now because, Gint said the 88 to 89 range. That's right by the – then, just lumping in the 90 win range. A week ago, I don't think any of us thought, we were hopeful, but I don't think any of us thought this team could be a 90-plus win team. Where are you at now?
Beginning of the season, I was thinking like along the lines again. I was thinking 84, 85 wins maybe.
Yeah, I feel like we were definitely more up on this team than other people were, but I don't think we were like,
no,
they're
we were
going to
not.
win the
Now, if the bullpen stays consistent, we know we're going to rake. We know we have batters. Bullpen stays consistent. Our top three starters stay like as good as they can be. This team, there's no reason we can't win 88 to 90 games. Expectations have definitely changed for the Phillies over the course of the last 6 games. I don't want to say we're going to win the division, but like, God damn it, if we keep playing like we can play, I think we're better than Nationals. And if the Braves are like slumping this bad, Mets going to Met, right?
Yep.
So like, there's a chance that
Met, right?
Yeah,
Marky. No, we did not. We're about to. We're wrapping up our Philly segment, and then we're getting to the 76ers. Snap. Have your expectations changed through 6 games? And where's your head at on this Phillies team?
I think the answer is obvious. It's yes, just because of how good the bullpens looked in the beginning of this, in the beginning of the season so far. But I still need to see more. I need to see consistency over a longer period of time. It's so early. Do I think they can win 90 games if they play like this all year? Yeah. I think that's pretty obvious. They have the offense and they have the pitching if the pitchers stay the same. But I need to see it over the course of the season a little more. But 90, I think that's possible.
I'm ready to get hurt. I've been hurt before. I'm ready to get hurt.
I am too.
I'm ready to get hurt, man. I've already been to 2. I was at the game yesterday. I was at the Easter Sunday game. I've already been to 2.
You've been busy with it.
You know what game I was at?
Yeah, the loss. You're not allowed back. You are not allowed
that's
back.
Really bad karma, bro.
It was bad. It was bad.
You might have to stay away for a little bit.
I know.
Try it one more time after. Try it in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
If they lose again, you're done.
He's going back into it.
Yeah, try it again when Vinny V pitches.
He was pitching. I was there.
I know. Weird how that works. Right?
Of course, the one game he gets in, George is in the seats. George was there to see it.
It's tough.
George was standing up waving his T-shirt around too.
When he struck out the side, I texted you. I was like, Vinny Velo?
It's like, I hate you, bro. No, you said it. You said Vinny Bullpen? Question mark. You asshole. All right, let's get into the Sixers, man, because are my numbers correct? They are 35-16, half a game behind Brooklyn for first place with a game in hand. They play Brooklyn this Wednesday. No James Harden most likely, but Kevin Durant is back. Kyrie Irving has been on another planet recently. So Wednesday's game will be a lot of fun to see and another, test for this Sixers team. But they did just sweep the season series versus the dirty Boston Celtics.
Love
Snap,
the
I know that's got to make you
That
happy.
makes me so happy, man. After last year's playoff loss, I don't know. Like, the only thing I want more is to see them in the first round and sweep them. That is the only thing I want more. Just make the season like complete for me. After last year,
You got Boston beat reporters and bloggers on Twitter saying the Sixers are just better. You got
it's awesome. I love it.
I'll say this. This is not, this is Sixers related, but it's about Boston. I guess I had this to Gint and George before the show. I think they've given up on Stevens, dude.
I do too.
Tristan Thompson's coming out today with his he doesn't understand the point in winning all these meaningless regular season games.
Boston,
hey pal, you might not even make the playoffs, so you might want to start caring about these regular season games, okay? Because you're in that 8. I believe they're still in the 8 seed. They might be the 7 seed right now.
They're the 7th now.
I don't know how. Also, sidebar, I don't know how Charlotte's maintaining that 4 seed.
They're good. They're a good little squad, man. They play together very well.
Yeah, but when Ball went down, I'm like, all right, they're going to drop. And then Hayward went down. I'm like, okay, they're going to drop. And look, they still can, but they've maintained. They're still 2 games over 500, so they're a little fun team to watch. But where do you guys want to go with this Sixers team? Because they're finally back healthy. Joel Embiid has only played 2 games since his return. And the craziest part is there's still some rust, and he dropped 35 on 16 of 20
he looked
shooting
really
from the
good.
line against Boston. He has 115 points in 3 games versus the Boston Celtics this year. Snap, that's why I'm with you. Like, okay, let's have this conversation. So me and Gint had discussed before, like, okay, the Sixers could finally be the 1 seed, or even if Brooklyn takes the 1 seed by half a game over us and we're the 2 seed. Sixers are finally going to be a top 2 seed in the East. And you get like Boston, the team that we haven't been able to get away from in the postseason the past couple of years. Like, when I get that high seed, I'm like, damn, like I went to like Charlotte or like the Knicks or something like that. I don't want Boston. But I watched Joel Embiid and that matchup against Boston. It's like, dude, they have no answer for him. Like, he's almost averaging 40. They had no answer for him. And yeah, on any given night, Tatum and Brown and Kemba can each score 20, 25 plus. But the Sixers have the wings to guard them. They don't have any bigs to get. Damn, dude, they're throwing Taco Fall out there in the second quarter to try to get like, they have no answer for him. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, dude, is that the ideal matchup? No, because they could catch fire in the playoffs. They are talented enough. I don't see it happening.
Bring them to us.
Bring them to us. We cooked them with Tobias having a bad game. Dude, outside of – I said this the other day to Mark, yesterday, honestly. Let's look at the Celtics game for a second. Joel dropped 35. Danny Green gave you 17 on 5 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc. Outside of that, Shake scored single digits. Toby scored 10. Ben scored 12. Seth scored 9. And they handled the Celtics from the second quarter on.
Yeah.
Again, because you weren't on the show with me. Talk to me about that, the Boston game specifically. Like, the fact that, Joel dominated. But outside of that, no one else. Like, Toby had 10 points. Ben had 12. And they handled Boston. How shocked were you by that? Is that more of a Sixers thing, or is that how we're talking about Boston's kind of just maybe giving up?
I think it's more predicated around Boston, to be honest with you. And that's not to say that, like, the Sixers at this point have done that a couple times this season where guys just aren't playing well and they're still finding ways to win. But, dude, Boston, like you said, right now just don't look good. But the way the NBA works, like, it's a roller coaster ride with some teams. That's why I was saying before the show, like, I'd rather not have to play them in first round series. Do I think we'll lose? Yeah. No, but like, just not who I want to play. I don't want to play Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker from playing horrible. But if you start it takes one series to figure things out, and then all of a sudden they catch lightning in a bottle, and we have to play a game 7 at home, and who knows what can happen? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, towards your question, I think it's more of a Boston thing, but I just think that's how good Embiid has been against them. They no answer is not even a question. Like, they're asking an open-ended question and they're answering like A, B, or C. They have there's just nothing there for them to figure out. they traded like Daniel Tice was like a hard-nosed guy that they might have been able to throw on him, but like they traded him for Mo Wagner. So
It was such a dumb move. I think that was so stupid.
Wasn't it to like put themselves in like the Drummond sweepstakes or something like that?
yeah, he almost got him right.
They always do.
Let's see here. Abe has a question for us. Buyout deadline coming close. Again, I believe it's tomorrow, like you said, correct?
I believe I read that somewhere.
Sixers waived the player.
Iggy.
Yeah, Iggy was not
I
going to try that
just
one.
called him Iggy because I knew.
What's their plan with that? I mean, to me, someone's coming there. They have an open roster spot there, and it's not just going to be left.
They're
open.
making sure of it.
Yeah. I really don't know, man. Like, Gint said, like Kelly Olynyk's not getting bought out. Marcus Saul's a name that's like if he gets bought out, I don't think he's getting bought out. Jabari Parker's name is being floated around there. I know my man Brock Landis continues to, put up videos and numbers with Otto Porter. I can't see him.
That.
Me too. I can't see him getting bought out at this point. If that date is correct, Wayne out. So yeah. So where are you guys looking? And even if there's a name that comes up, Wayne Ellington, Otto Porter, put Porter aside because I think he would contribute off the bench. But like Ellington in the playoffs, Jabari Parker in the playoffs. Is this player to be named even going to help this Sixers team? Because someone put out a tweet earlier, like we got spoiled with the Ersan and Marco Bellinelli buyout market. Now we didn't win anything with them, but they were two players that contributed a whole hell of a lot to this team's buyout market. That doesn't happen a lot, right? Yep. So even if they get player X, player Y, does he contribute in the playoffs? Snap, I'll throw that to you first.
As of right now, no. I think this is just like solidifying like your roster moving forward more or less this year. Like you said, there's no one really valuable out there right now. And I mean, like if you grab a guy like Wayne Ellington, we'll say, like you grab a guy like Wayne Ellington and like say Seth goes down. Okay, at least I can plug like him onto the bench now and we still have a shooter. Like that's kind of what you want. Like that's why I think Wayne Ellington would be the perfect target. At first, I really thought the whole JJ Redick thing could happen, but they traded him instead of buying him out to get some sort of value. But yeah, I think as of right now, if everyone's healthy, no.
So precautionary.
Yeah, I think you just need to go out there and get a 3-point shooter just in case someone goes down.
Okay. George, how about you? Thoughts on the buyout market? Anyone you like that you think can contribute, or are you on board with Snap? It's kind of just if there's an injury, there's player X that is serviceable to play.
I think precautionary is a good word because like we were saying, it's kind of light, the buyout market. So Jabari Parker, Wayne Ellington, Gasol, like these are guys that you don't know if they're going to contribute in the playoffs, but they're guys that are very good to have if somebody does go down, So solidifying a roster is a good way to put it. Like Snap said, I don't see anyone that's going to move the needle much from what we are at right now.
I don't think anyone does, man. Don't get me wrong. Like I will like a Wayne Ellington addition for.
Yeah, I would too. We talked about that too. We talked about how Wayne Ellington.
I think the only name really out there that would really.
Olynyk would, but I don't see.
That's about it. And I don't even. I hate that dude. It would really hurt my soul. He was a Miami Heat player and a Boston Celtic. Like fuck off.
There was one more thing I was going to throw out there. I forget. Go ahead, take it away. Is there anyone out there? Oh, if we did sign Jabari Parker, we'd have 2 of the top 3 picks in the 2014 draft class.
Sick.
I do. I like Jabari. I would. If there's a guy that we're saying
talk me into it, Kent.
But here's why. We're looking at
glasses on. Put the glasses on.
One, there's still doubleheaders left to be played, which means we most likely. I don't know how many are left, but I'm assuming there's some.
No, I think there's
one.
one.
Embiid's not going to play in that next game, most likely. And you get let's say we get into a first round series, and let's say we play Boston, and they just try to go small. And, are we just going to throw Dwight Howard in the second unit regardless? I mean, the way we handled them last night, it wouldn't matter. But let's say they catch lightning in a bottle and they start to figure things out. Do we want Mike Scott to be our backup 5?
No.
Bro,
Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
I'm telling dude, Jabari Parker averaged I'm pretty sure he was close to 16 points a game, not even 2 years.
Sixers wired. You made it on time.
Oh, yeah, so
Every time
we started later today.
Yeah, this dude snap. Every time we do the Daily Dose, Sixers Wired comments "yo" as we're wrapping up, and then it'll be okay, bye, because I'm already playing the video, the exit video.
So, I mean, if there was a guy, I don't see a reason to sign a guard, a shooter. I don't see the reason, unless, like you said, Seth gets hurt, and
Right.
But at that point, if guys are getting hurt,
You're not going to win anyway.
probably not going to win. So the only fill you need is someone to play, because as we've heard, Dwight and Ben can't play together. So there's someone you need out there, but are you going to find that guy? The only one I can think of is Jabari Parker.
I do like this comment because, Parker could play small ball 5. He can also play backup 4, because the thing is, remember when we were talking about stretch big before? My stretch big, I meant power forward. So Mike Scott doesn't play. I feel like a lot of people got lost in Boogie Cousins, backup 5s. And I'm like, well, dude, those are the people that just are going to cast the White to the side where he doesn't play at all. And I'm with you. It's matchup based. There could be situations where Dwight becomes unplayable if teams decide to go small or whatever. But yeah, I'm with that comment. We need a backup power forward to where it makes it easier on Doc to rotate and switch up the rotations, because as you know, he can't do the hockey shifts in the playoffs. I don't think he will, but he cannot do that.
Mirotic returning to the States. That's a good one.
Yeah. If he's healthy, he could take. Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's the biggest thing for me. Anyone that can take Mike Scott's minutes, you're welcome on my team.
Dude, another thing though is Doc sticks to his guns, and when he has a rotation, you saw it last year. Montrezl Harrell was not the answer for Denver, and he continued to play him. He continued to plug him in. He continued to put him on Jokic, and it just wasn't working. So I don't know if he'll remove Dwight's honestly in the playoffs going to play what? Probably 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless we're winning by more, he might stretch that to 15. I mean, God forbid Embiid goes down, he might have to play a little.
If Embiid goes down, kiss the playoff run goodbye, because
that's what I said. God forbid, but he's not going to play. So you need to just match 9 minutes of where now you have George Hill, so you might not even have to play Ben in those 9 minutes. But how much is Ben not going to play in the playoffs, and how much do you want Ben and Joel to be off the court at the same time? So
see, I don't mind the idea, and George, you can chime in here now, because you've been silent. I don't mind the idea that Jabari Parker is signing, I guess, for that reason, right? Because he can provide those minutes, and now you not only could he play stretch 4, stretch 5, Toby can kind of do that a little bit. Ben can play small ball 5 if need be. So you do have answers when Embiid's off the floor if a team decides to go small, where you can still be big, but not 7-foot Dwight Howard who just can't play down the small ball. So, George, what are your thoughts there? Jabari Parker intrigue you?
Realistically, Jabari Parker is the only guy that actually does intrigue me. Everyone else is Wayne Ellington, maybe. That would be cool. But like we were saying, the buyout period's so late. There's not players that you look at that are jumping off the board right now and that are going to push the needle to help your team more than guys in the years past. So Kelly Olynyk being bought out, that'd be so cool. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, dude, he's averaging 18 and 12 since he's been traded.
It's not happening.
Another thing is Jabari Parker's he's had it before. You know what I mean? He's been good. Maybe you can catch
he's
him.
only 25.
Exactly. Maybe you can catch him to play 11 good games, but probably not going to happen because he's been dreadful the last year.
I would take Jabari Parker though.
Yeah. Hopefully you get lucky. You know what I mean?
I would take anyone that's serviceable if someone goes down. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Get me someone that can play basketball.
All right, let's talk about an addition. Let's talk about an addition that we haven't seen in a Sixers uniform yet, and that is George Hill. And I don't. None of us are casuals, and I don't want to be casual that gets frustrated, especially when people are out there like Paul Hudrick and Doc, and I'll tell you he's going to be it's getting. I understand people's frustrations that he's not playing yet, and it's scary. but they didn't trade him without knowing that he's going to be here. Doc said he only needs 10. There's like 20 games left or so. Doc said he only needs 10 games to get him acclimated. So he will be back before the playoffs. Let's talk about his role, though, because Gant and I, on previous shows, I've had some commenters, go back and forth with me about what his role should be. And I want to get your guys' take on this. And then what did Hudrick say? Again, he run the second unit? Close games, yes.
Let's give him the basis.
Yes.
You were saying you want to run the second unit, you want to call it the bench, which is fine. You can run the second unit. I was saying I really like the idea of him, Danny Green, and Ben Simmons in the starting lineup against a team like Brooklyn where you need to guard 3 guys.
Oh, yeah.
More length. So that's why I was saying starter. You were saying off the bench, but Hudrick said he thinks he'll definitely command the second unit, but he'll close games as well.
Close games, yeah.
But then we kind of got into it about who we think should start.
Right. No, but then the commenters were, we need a true point guard and all that nonsense.
Yeah, Ben can't play point guard.
To preface it, my whole point was, what was the need on this team? Backup point guard. What did you trade for? Backup point guard. So now you got that. Why would you then flip it around and throw him in the starting lineup with a starting 5 when healthy? That's been pretty dominant all year. That was my argument. What do you guys think, Billy, I'll throw this to you first, should be George Hill's role on this team? And how important is he going to be, man? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I can't see much more of point guard Shake Milton, and I can't see it in the playoffs. I don't trust him. I don't.
Yeah, no, I would rather him run the second unit personally, and him closing games would also be nice, but having a guy that is a veteran that can shoot threes pretty well, having him over Shake right now is probably a good thing. So I guess I could see him starting in the playoffs certain series, but like depending on the matchups. But I would rather him just come off the bench, run the second unit. I feel like it's kind of
he can close games.
And he can close games, but I feel like it's kind of why we traded for him, right? We needed a like you said, a guy to like run that unit, and he can also come in and close games too. So I think either or is okay, depending on the matchup base. Like if you want to start, I'm sure if the matchup is better for him to start, that's fine. Personally, I'd rather him just come off the bench.
Yes.
Yo,
I thought you were talking about me at first.
Bro, can you pull that up? Yo, I'm being honest here. Yo, like Jared Bayless might have been one of the worst players I've ever touched this roster. He would, you know what they used to call him? Playlist Jared Bayless.
Oh man, Hill for strictly second unit and closing game purposes, in my opinion, or only. Snap. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you want to see George Hill start or come off the bench?
You guys rounded the bases here with this one. I think he's going to be the second unit point guard for the rest of the regular season. He might, depending on your situations, late game, he might play and close games, or he might not be on the floor because you now have that versatility with the veteran point guard. But and in the playoffs, I absolutely could see him starting in a series. Why not? I mean, he's been there more than Shake Milton. If you want more confidence in some guard play, you put George Hill into the starting lineup. But that's basically. I think he's just going to lead the second unit. That's what you needed him for.
I think what kind of ruffled the feathers was in the introductory press conference, Keith Pompey asked if he's going to be starting or not, and then there wasn't a clear answer to the question, and that kind of got the ball rolling for what his role is going to be. I know Marky said he has a feeling Hill's not going to suit up this season. I have no doubt in my mind he suits up this season. Yeah. It's just a matter of when, and I would like to see it more than 10 games before the playoffs, even though 10 games, like with a veteran like him, and if they're already building chemistry off the floor, because he had a press conference last night, I believe, and he said, his teammates have been awesome. It's a different culture, different locker room. They're funny. They joke with them, all that stuff. So I just want to see George Hill on the floor and see him help this team. Guys, what else do you want to get into before we wrap up today's show? Because what it's getting down to for this final home stretch of the regular season to me is, look, we know the Sixers team is a top 3 team in the East. We know they can contend. And it just basically comes down to what our final thoughts are, and if they can get to the playoffs healthy, kind of chess, not checkers. Where do you want to be seeding wise So I guess I'll do that. Let me pull up the Eastern Conference standings, and you tell me, because obviously we all want the coveted 1 seed, correct? Especially home court advantage, for those reasons. But when you look, so if it ended today, and now I know there's the play-in tournament, right? But let's just take it for what it is, 1 through 8, because the Bulls are 10, so the Bulls. I think the Bulls would beat Boston in that first playing game.
It's possible.
You can smirk all you want.
Not possible. Dude, Chicago's real.
Not possible.
Oh, we know they just got Vucevic. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I totally forgot that they got Nick Vucevic. Oh,
Yeah, they're a better team. It's
any team that has a good center is probably going to beat Boston at this point.
Well, that's the craziest part. That how funny would that be that Boston doesn't make the playoffs because they get knocked out in the play-in tournament?
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
But anyway, my point is, so if it ended today, we'd be the 2 seed, which would mean we play Boston.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's 3, they play Miami. Brooklyn's 1, they play the Knicks. Look, there's a lot of games left to be played, so this is all going to get jumbled around. But where would you guys rather prefer the 1 seed and just have home court advantage and you get that coveted 1 seed? Or if you're looking at it, let's say the Heat or Boston's the 8 seed and the Knicks are the 7 seed, would you prefer to play chess, not checkers, and be the 2 seed and get the Knicks in the first round instead? Again.
Okay.
Sorry, no, go ahead, George.
Hey, George, you go ahead.
No, I would 100% take the Knicks over the Celtics or the Heat. I know.
So you would prefer matchup rather than higher seed?
Definitely. And I mean, because I would love the 1 seed, and I think we would take care of any of those teams. But like Gin said earlier, if the Celtics just catch lightning in a bottle and figure it out in 1 series, I don't want to play Game 7 in Philly. I don't want to go to Game 7 against the Celtics. That's just not what I want to do. So I don't know. We'll see. I still think we handle any team though.
All right, Gin, go ahead, because I saw you shake your head.
No, yeah, you're not going to overthink things. You're not going to lose games to drop a seed to play whoever. Now, we have to play Boston as the 8 seed, Miami as the 4 seed to get to the conference finals? No, probably not. But to me, it's there's 3 teams in the Eastern Conference right now that are on a different tier than the rest, and that's us, and that's in Milwaukee. Us and the Mets in Milwaukee. So having to avoid playing them until as late as possible is the biggest thing for me.
Okay.
So if that means not being the 2 and it means being the 1, but you have to play Boston in the first round, yeah, I'd much rather that. Because like you said, you don't want to have to – you want to play one of them as late as possible. If you don't have to play them, then you're fortunate enough. But most likely, if you're going to get to where you got to be, you're going to play at least one of them, maybe both. So
well, the funniest thing, as is right now, if it ended today, which it's not going to obviously, but if it ended today, we'd really be hoping to get up to that 1 seed because you would get the Knicks in the 8 seed, and then you would play the winner of 4-5, and that's Charlotte, Atlanta. That's none of Boston, Miami. It's none of them. So that if it today, honestly, getting the 1 seed and ending today is my perfect first 2 rounds for the Sixers team before getting to Milwaukee or the Nets. Snap, we'll wrap it up with you here. What's your point of view on seeding versus matchup?
You want the better seeding, regardless, because we've seen how this team plays at home. I think it is an advantage with as little fans as we have right now in the stadium. It's just a fact. They like playing in Philadelphia. So I think seeding's more important. Obviously, you want better matchups in the way it's going, but if Boston's at 8 and I can get the first seed, I'm staying with the first seed. I'm not going to duck Boston just because just because to make it easier. I want number 1. This team is good. That's a goal of this team. It's what brings them together. Let them be able to say they're number 1 in the East. Let's do this.
I agree with you, man. Well, with that being said, so we got 1 seed, and we got scared little Billy down there looking for the Knicks.
I'd rather be the Knicks than the Celtics. Or
no, I'm kidding with you. And if you got the 1 seed, you'd get the Knicks right now.
Yeah.
As the 2 seed, the Sixers would get the Celtics. So the best of both worlds come with getting the 1 seed as of today. It'll definitely be interesting to see how everything shapes out. Just the fact that this is the part that I can't get over with Gint. The year that the Sixers could finally get the 1 or the 2 seed, the 4 and 5 seeds are Charlotte and Atlanta, and the 6, 7, 8 are Miami and Boston, and those that's the most annoying part, man. Any other year we'd be I'd be ecstatic, and now it's okay, let's see how this plays out. But with that being said, you can follow our pod on Twitter at FaithfulFans2. You can follow my guy Snap at Nasizmansky. George is at _George Ryder. Big Head Gint is at Matt _McGinty. He'll be drinking White Claws all night, so stay locked into his Twitter for some takes at that. And you can follow me on Twitter at DylanJD98. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go Sixers and go Phillies. Next week, I know they've been a thorn in our sides for quite a few months now, but we will be getting back to some football talk and the Philadelphia Eagles as the NFL draft is approaching. We all know the Eagles traded down to 12, so we'll discuss options at 12, what we want them to do, and discuss the trade back and everything like that on next week's show. So stay locked in there. Have a nice night, everybody.